This is a real story. It happened many years ago in a village in India. It was summertime and 22-year-old Swathi from Bangalore was spending her vacation with her grandfather. The young woman loved her vacations in the village because life there was so peaceful and slow. But this year, her grandfather seemed unusually gloomy. One evening, he called Swathi to his room. "I want to tell you something very important," he said seriously. Swathi, his only grandchild, was sitting in front of him, obediently. She knew that her grandfather was a retired army officer. He was a strict man who followed discipline to the dot. He also had a very interesting life before he settled down in the village. And Swathi often pestered him to share stories about his past. But he always brushed them off with a joke or a smile. He never took anything seriously. But now he looked really serious, so she listened attentively. "You know how your grandmother and I often fight these days?" he started. Swathi nodded. It was true. Her grandparents argued a lot. "She says that I don't let her read my old albums. She wants me to throw them away," the old man sighed. "But these are the most precious things for me. I can't bear to part with them. All my memories are stored in these photographs and documents. I've locked this trunk for over 40 years now. Only I have the key." He paused. "Look, sweetie, when you go back to your city, please take this trunk with you. Keep it in your apartment. At least then it will be under lock and key and no one can see it," he said. He looked at his granddaughter. "I want you to open this trunk and look through all the stuff inside. You can keep whatever you like. The rest you can throw away. I just don't want these things to end up in a dustbin," he said, looking down at his feet. He was ashamed to admit that even after 40 years, he couldn't bear to get rid of those memories. He handed her the key. Swathi was shocked. Why was he giving her the key and entrusting her with such a big responsibility? "But Grandpa," she started, but he stopped her with a wave of his hand. "Don't ask questions. Just do as I say." "Please, Swathi," he pleaded. Looking at her grandfather's tear-filled eyes, Swathi didn't argue further. She accepted the key and promised to take care of the trunk. That evening, after her grandparents had gone to bed, Swathi packed the trunk into her suitcase. She felt a little guilty for taking the old man's precious memories, but she knew that he wasn't in his right mind. She would return the trunk to him when he did. When Swathi returned to her city, she kept the trunk in her apartment. A few weeks passed, but her grandfather didn't call her to return the trunk. Did he forget all about it? Swathi wondered. But one night, she woke up from strange sounds coming from the other room. Her parents' room was empty. They had gone out for the weekend, leaving her alone in the apartment. Curious, Swathi got up and went to the other room. It was the room where her parents kept their old furniture. The sounds seemed to be coming from inside the trunk. Startled, Swathi opened the lid. What she saw inside gave her goosebumps. There were hundreds of little colorful papers stacked inside. And the sound was coming from inside one of the papers. As she lifted it, a tiny beetle flew out. Startled, Swathi dropped the paper. Then she realized that they were old photographs. As she picked them up, she saw an old yellowed love letter that had fallen out of the album. Taking a deep breath, she opened it. It read, "My dearest Ram, I hope this letter finds you well. I know that you must be busy with your army postings and don't have time to write me letters. So I am writing to you after a long, long time. How are you, my love? How is life treating you? I miss you so much and think of you every moment. I keep your photograph under my pillow. It gives me strength to go through the lonely nights. I dream of the day when you will come back home and we will live happily ever after. Until then, I will wait for you, my love, your Radha." Swathi felt a lump in her throat. So her grandmother's name was Radha. She looked at the date on the envelope. It was dated 1978, so they had been apart for a very long time. But what happened to them? Why did they separate? Swathi wondered. Just then, she heard the front door open. Her parents had returned. Quickly, she hid the trunk in the corner and closed the door. Her parents had no idea that she had been hiding a box of old photographs in their house. The next morning, Swathi called her grandfather. To her surprise, he sounded happy. "Oh, Swathi, you called. I was just about to call you." Did you find everything okay? He asked. Yes, Grandpa, I found everything. I'm sorry that I couldn't return the trunk earlier. She said, Oh, it's all right, child. In fact, I'm glad you found it. Can you keep it with you? I don't need it anymore, he said. Swathi was confused. What did he mean? Before she could ask, he hung up the phone. What does it all mean? Swathi wondered. She looked at the old, faded photographs in her hand. These two people were madly in love once upon a time. Then why did they stop loving each other? Or maybe they never stopped loving each other. Maybe they were together till their last breath, she thought, smiling.